Well, we can talk about that later. For now, it's the rest of the podcast that we need to talk about. I don't know what the rest of the
Yeah.
podcast is going to consist of because
Okay.
oh wait, no, there was the best story in Zenless. Uh,
Oh,
yeah,
I need to catch up on Zenless.
I recommend
Please.
you do for two reasons. One, main plot. Two, Seed's agent story. Ooh.
It's really good. It's
Yeah,
really painful.
I ugly cried, and so did everyone I watched play it.
Oh, that actually has me excited about it. I've been meaning to go back to catch up on Zenless again.
It
I
is
just
it is
mm,
good stuff. It is very good stuff. Yeah,
okay. I'm looking forward to that. I
yeah.
I'm 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 gonna make that my homework to catch up on Zenless.
Cool. Uh, the thing we were talking about before we started recording, by the way, before I hit the button, was Expedition 33, which I am. I'm going to guess I'm halfway through Act 2. I'm not entirely sure. But given
Okay.
where I am and the things I know about that game, we're probably going to have a discussion with spoilers up to that point at the end of the podcast, so people can just fucking duck out when they want to
Okay.
not deal with that. Um, I
That
do
sounds
have
fair.
I do have some thoughts that are not spoilers. Uh, One, I said it kind of reminded me of Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
Uh,
And I laughed at that. And I was like, you know what? Yeah.
I don't know if I'm fully where you would say that is appropriate. Like, I mean, there are the very, very important doors that happen to be all over the place, which, you know, that's a thing.
Did somebody say the door to darkness?
And I did post in the actual games channel a very conspicuous picture of a field of giant swords.
Yeah.
And then I went into the area, and then it was a barren wasteland filled with giant swords stabbed into the ground. I'm just saying, some inspiration might have been taken.
Yeah. Interesting, huh?
The gestural beach minigames are a thing. Some
Oh,
of
they're
them
just
seem to
lovely,
be,
aren't they?
yeah, some of them seem to be taking a cue from 14, which, you know, fair enough. I liked those climbing towers. Those were fun.
Hmm.
And if
I love.
memory serves, I did the one that is like only up first try. So yay me.
Yeah, I that one I was surprised by. Like, I was doing pretty well on that, and I think that like the jumping in that game was not meant to be a platformer
No, it was
by any
not.
means, but it was enough that was like this is kind of like Final Fantasy 14. I can do this.
Yeah, that one was fine. The one across the logs on the surface of the water was not, which is the first one
Oh
you
no,
get to.
that one's pretty rough.
Yeah, yeah. And I did the volleyball one, which was stupid and bad. Like, just apparently the director of the game designed those mini games himself, and
Hmm.
designed those specifically to ape Final Fantasy X's mini games to get the ultimate weapons.
Fair.
And because of that, he designed them to be maddeningly difficult because that's what Final Fantasy X did.
And what you get out of it is a swimsuit.
Yeah, the volleyball one goes past any whatever difficulty Final Fantasy X had. The volleyball one goes past it because you can't see the projectiles. That's
Yeah, it's
that's
pretty
not
rough.
awkward and difficult. That is bad game design.
Well, at least it's optional.
Yeah, I did it,
Entirely
but I wanted
skippable.
to smash something, so you know.
Yeah.
And you can say, yeah, that was the intention. No, there is annoyingly difficult, and then there is the game gets in the way of you actually playing the game
If
completely.
if you can't see something and you're expected to react to it as if you could, that's bad game design.
Yes, yes, it is.
Like nobody can argue with that point there.
Yeah. So yeah, that was annoying. And okay, yeah. Patient says intentionally insufferable is still insufferable. Yes, that is always a very good point to keep in mind. Thank you, Patient. Of like, hey, I'm doing this thing ironically means you're still doing the thing and it's still shitty. Doesn't really matter what it is, whether you're trying to be like, hey, remember that shitty thing back in the day? That was sure shitty. I'm going to do it again to remind everyone of how shitty it was. Yeah, it was shitty. That means we still hate the thing, which means we still hate your thing.
Yeah, don't do it.
Yeah, it's just... Yeah, that's indulgent, we can call that. In a really bad way. So, I'm not going to talk about spoilers. Not going to talk about story. Because, like I said, spoilers at the end. So people can duck out, that's fine. But gameplay, I still really, really love the combat. The combat is fantastic. I like active participation in turn-based combat, so it doesn't feel quite as stodgy and boring. Like you see the same animations play out 20 times, and cool, that's the entire fight. No, you have to actually pay attention and do things. Cool.
Yeah. I personally think that my favorite times with any turn-based games of when there is some element of like player feedback and like interaction there instead of just waiting for your next turn, you know?
Yeah.
I like having that amount of like control.
Yeah. So that part of the game is phenomenal. The rest of it, mind you. So I have this thing where I don't really like the corridor aspect of JRPGs, where it's just you are walking down what is essentially a straight hallway. That's boring.
Yes.
And the aesthetic of the game, that is very nice, broadly speaking, let's say broadly speaking, because it's very nice, broadly speaking, because it has this painterly aesthetic, which is the entire point of the game. Painterest, etc. Everything's paint. They're called tints instead of healing potions and so on. It's all paint. It's all color. That's the idea. Cool. That aesthetic is doing so much of the work because the environment design is boring and samey through each level. Like, you go to, I think it's Ancient Sanctuary, I think is the name. The one just before the Gestural Village.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this area is filled with red trees and red grass, and there are little white sculpture things dotted around the place. That is the entire level. That is the entire region. Everything looks the goddamn same. 80% of it is just a straight shot, and I still get lost every goddamn time. That's kind of a thing in, I want to say, about 70% of the levels that are actually levels.
Yeah, I can see that.
So that's not great. It would help if there was a map in the levels, so you could see where you were going. They do give you a map on the overworld, which is nice. It would be nicer if it tracked a little bit more than just the areas that you have gone to and thus have names on the map. Like, say, we've been here and we have done the things in this place, would be a nice marker to have.
Yeah.
Another nice thing to have would be, I don't know, a quest log, maybe? Considering just how much of this game is about writing in fucking journals, it would be really nice to have one.
You know, now that you bring that up, it never really occurred to me that I didn't really have one to track everything. Because I really was just like, okay, I'm going to keep this in mind, and they want me to do this. I'm going to see if I can do that, whenever. So it never really occurred to me because I was just like, oh, I'll keep it in mind. I'll come back here later. But yeah, that would have been helpful.
Yeah. Like, not just from a functionality standpoint, but narratively. Just like the entire whole thing of Gustav is just to, every time he's at camp, you can stop and write in the journal. Every time you go back. It's like, okay, can I see it? Like, for that sort of thing, I actually have a really good example to point back to, and that's God of War. Because that was also a thing in that game of, hey, the kid's just like, seeing all these things, all these like markings around the place and all notes and records carved into stone and everything. It's like, oh, cool, I'm going to write that down, copy that down, because this is cool, I'm interested, I'm learning about stuff. And you can go in and you can see his notes written in character. That
Hmm.
For this game, for both functionality and story reasons, would be a really great thing to have.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So that
The
functionally
journal feels
annoying and
underutilized as a
also kind
mechanic.
of just a wasted idea that they didn't follow through with on in that case. Yeah. So the exploration is really kind of fucking annoying, and I am enjoying the hell out of this game, but I am definitely enjoying it despite that part of the game.
Mm.
So that is where I stand on that. And I also have some concerns about the story of the game, but we can get to those much, much later in the episode. So that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's um, there's a lot to discuss and debate about some of the things that the game puts forth. So that's one of the reasons why I've been very excited for you to play this game is because I'd like to be able to discuss that.
I am unfortunately, like I said, only about halfway through the game. Yeah. So
That's fair.
there will be another episode where we come back and do exactly this again, but for the time being, we are where we are.
Okay.
Anything else I have to talk about? I don't think so. I think that's pretty much everything. I'm catching
Uh,
up on stuff and in work. I mean, I'm catching up on stuff.
yeah.
With, like one more chapter for Patreon to go, and two more commission chapters to go, and that's it.
Nice.
It is probably going to get to the point where I have 1 week off between September and October, and that is quite the feat for me to end up with after like unloading 4 chapters that I would have otherwise been due, and I am still only getting a week. That says a lot, but it's going to be a week, and I'm going to be feeling better. And then we've got the Christmas and New Year that I take too anyway.
Hmm.
I will have time to recover, and that is fine. So
Nice.
but yeah, that's everything for me. Zero, you're going to be talking about Silksong for about 40 minutes. So I'm going to say, hey, patient, do you want to go next?
Well, I'm just going to bring up the Nintendo Direct.
Oh, that's true. That happened. Okay.
Now,
I just want to get something out of the way really, really quick.
yes, I know exactly what you're going to talk about.
So, recording last episode, I'm not going to say I was nice to Nintendo, but I was not shitting on every conversation about Nintendo, and I was just letting people enjoy the things they enjoy, and that was fine. And I think that was
Yes.
better and healthier for everyone involved, and I think that was a good thing to just let it rock, and that's fine. And I have my stance, and everyone knows it, and that's fine.
Yes.
Nintendo made me regret that fucking immediately.
Because I wanted to talk about this because I want to get this out of the way. Because this is something that has pissed me off and is something that should not be downplayed in any degree. The recent patent for summoning mechanics, first of all, should not have been awarded. It is literally BS. And honestly, if they attempt to enforce it, it's likely to just fall apart because, again, it is a flimsy piece of paper. The way it's worded is actually pretty specific if you've looked at the wording, but that also means there can be an attempt made to abuse it. But it's not about actively using it that's a problem. It's the fact that they have a patent that says, "Oh, summoning characters and using them in battle is a patent that we have." That existing in the first place discourages competition and discourages smaller developers from even attempting to do that sort of thing.
I
It
imagine
is
there are some
not good.
very cautious conversations taking place in the 14 development rooms because that Beastmaster class was on its way.
Right. Now, I think, again, the first large company that comes to challenge that is likely going to cause that patent to be shredded to the ground, right?
Probably. What one can hope is what I will say instead. Not probably.
Yeah, because all they have to do is show that, hey, this has been something that's been part of our thing for decades. And then it becomes a whole thing of like, yeah, no, we can't actually say that you have a full thing on this, right?
Yeah.
But again, the very fact that it exists and that it was awarded is a travesty because of how it impacts smaller developers. I do not and have not ever liked Nintendo's legal bullying that they do. and this especially is a horrible like example of that. So, getting that out there,
Yeah.
I won't fault you because it is
Yeah.
like horrendous, and it kind of sullies everything that's really cool that we want to talk about because
Mm.
that's hanging in the background of they did this thing, it's awful.
In the week before I read that happened, I was literally like, I was actually nice to Nintendo. Well, I was neutral to Nintendo, and I was like, maybe I'm being kind of harsh. And some of those games do look cool. I saw RT Game doing an updated Let's Play highlights reel of the Kirby Switch 2 update, and that game still
Hmm.
looks really cool, and I would still love to play it. I still want to play new Pokemon Snap. There's a lot of things that they have made that I would really love to play. Maybe I should consider, and then this comes down.
Now, this isn't going to necessarily stop me from playing Nintendo games.
Yeah.
Just because I mean that's my choice.
Yeah, it is absolutely
I've
100%.
I've enjoyed the games for a long period of time. I want to continue to enjoy them, and I think that my whether I choose whether or not to buy is not going to make a significant difference in this case. I tend to view it as like there's a line in which I'll just stop supporting a company completely, and that's usually like when like it's it's usually more to do with like workplace stuff or people who work at that company that are just like the worst pieces of shit that I cannot even possibly think to support. But when it's like they're taking legal action, I don't know who to blame for that, and that upsets me a little bit because I don't know what the organization of stuff is. So I don't know if I should just blame everybody there or just if it's just that one guy.
When it comes to something as strategic as filing patents, you are definitely looking at the C suite. You are looking at executives.
Yeah. And I will say, in compared to previous executives for um, Nintendo, the person we're going to really want to look at is the Nintendo Japan guy,
Yep.
who nobody really talks about very often. But I don't like that guy. In fact, I've not liked that guy for a while.
Yeah.
Um, after Iwata passed, the role was handed over to one who had a strong push for mobile games and the mobile market, and has been pretty high on some of the shittier business practices that Nintendo has been responsible for.
I mean, they
I
have
can't even
two
put it all
gotchas
on.
now at this point.
Yes, and it's because of that guy pushing for it, which is not something that the previous executives would have even wanted to ever happen. So that's kind of the situation there.
Mm-hmm.
That's not to say like Doug Bowser is not a Bowser, but
Yeah, yeah, he's named after. Yeah, no, who fucking cares? This is a bit too serious.
yeah,
He's apparently a yes man, is what I understand about him.
yeah,
So Japan says jump, he says, "Oh fuck, I need to get into the stratosphere. I need to go."
yeah. So it's not quite, they don't quite have the strong leadership core with morality that, I mean, their leadership's never been perfect, but they had more restraint than they've had recently, ever since the changing of hands, which happened before a lot of the worst stuff. Then a lot of the worst stuff comes out after the change of hands. And you're like, wow, I wonder why. Um, so
So
that out of the
I
way.
literally said, "Hey, patient, do you want to go next?" And then you and I start talking for 10 minutes about awful stuff. So that Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, moving on away from that. So we've got that out and we've talked about our grievances with it. Let's move on to the Nintendo Direct and actually some fun things that were shown.
Well, first, pardon me if I'm going to be a bit callous in this viewpoint, but I just. My reason for not paying much mind to that lawsuit is it's so stupid I can't take it seriously. It's not going to last. And whoever came up with it is going to get the axe. It's not a matter of whether, it's just a matter of when. This is going to blow up in their faces, and I'm just going to enjoy what happens when it does.
Okay.
And that's all there is to it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
As for the Direct itself, the Mario celebration to start things off, I have no idea what they're going to be doing for the Mario Galaxy movie. That's going to be fun.
That
But
is
it seems that they're pandering to fan service just as much as ever because they're jumping straight to Rosalina.
I
okay.
mean,
I
of
can
the Mario
explain this.
story, I can absolutely see Mario Galaxy being one of those stories that would work as a movie better than most of the other Mario stories.
Let me jump in here because I can explain why this is happening and why they're jumping straight to Galaxy.
Go for it.
So anybody who's been following Mario for a long period of time is aware that for the majority of his different eras, he was basically being directed and controlled and created by Miyamoto. And Miyamoto um, loved making Mario, but hated Mario games having story. Distinctly disliked it.
Yeah, that's true.
Obviously, saying, "Oh, it's like a play or it's a stage," you know.
And
And
also with the undercurrent of, hey, it's a toy. It's not supposed to be art or anything like that. It's a thing you play with.
yes, now in comes Koizumi, who is the current head of the Mario stuff. He works and leads the Mario Odyssey team that also made Bonanza. And if you've noticed, in Odyssey and Bonanza, there is significantly more focus on story and developing a world. But the first game that he really worked on with Mario was Mario Galaxy.
This is the thing with the book, isn't it?
It's the thing with the Rosalina book,
Yep.
which has the actual backstory of Rosalina. And it was one of the first times we had a character's like actual canon backstory in a game, in a Mario game specifically. So Koizumi's now in charge. Koizumi's gonna do what he's gonna do.
And now things have come far enough that they're actually releasing that storybook as a physical thing, and those are going to sell out fast, and I am going to do my darndest to get my hands on one.
I'm gonna get one.
It would be deserved. Like that is a really good storybook. Like
Yeah,
I confront about how much I don't like Nintendo stuff, but that thing was actually really moving.
Koizumi had to sneak that in to the game.
I've heard that a few times. Yep.
I've heard that. I'm not entirely sure that's true, but yeah, okay.
But it feels like something that's kind of true because it was removed in Mario Galaxy 2. And then now with the new ports, it's added into Mario Galaxy 2, and new pages are added to Mario Galaxy 1.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And they're adding new pages too. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, so reason why we're jumping to Mario Galaxy movie is because it is the only other entrance in the games chronologically that has a story that matters on any level.
I suppose so. I mean, if they adapted Sunshine, it would just be Power Wash Simulator 2. Oh wait, we got that later. Sorry for jumping ahead.
That's a good one.
Mario Sunshine is
Mario
kind of
Sunshine
in a
has a
hard
bad
state.
story anyway. Like even for as shallow, water jokes. Even for as shallow as that story is, it's a really fucking bad story.
It's not great.
Yeah, there's a lot of legal trouble.
Yeah. We don't need Mario going to court again.
I don't know. Odyssey they could probably make a story out of. That's actually kind of a cool idea of just like a road trip, well, balloon
Yeah.
trip around the world. That
Odyssey they can.
that would have some legs, but I don't know. Maybe they don't want to. I don't know.
Odyssey they can, but Odyssey comes after Galaxy chronologically, so I could see them wanting to be like Galaxy then Odyssey.
Yep.
Um,
So yeah, I'm also
Yeah.
looking forward to the remaster of Galaxy. I mean, not even a remaster, just a re-release. Galaxy is one of those games that has infinite replayability.
I am actually going to be buying Galaxy 2 because, full disclosure, my experience with Galaxy 2 is very, very limited. As in, we got the game, I played some of it. I was mostly falling off Mario at that time because other games were in my interest. And then I beat the final boss because my little brother asked me to.
From
The final boss of Galaxy... You can't lose to the final boss of Galaxy 2. No, never mind. That's just the last stage. Never mind.
my understanding is if you played Mario Galaxy, you have played 70% of Mario Galaxy 2.
Not... I mean, I haven't Mario Galaxy 2 myself. I played a lot of it. but I didn't 100% it twice like I did Galaxy 1. So,
Galaxy 2, from what I understand, has better designs, more levels, but the lack of the storybook in it and Rosalina's mostly absence kind of took away from some of the impact it had because it had much of the story cut out.
yeah, you had the dominant leading character of Rosalina and all the adorable little Lumas around, and then you replace them with big, fat purple Luma on a Mario's head-shaped airship, which not bad, but not better than Rosalina and the Common Observatory by any means.
Yeah, so that's why the news of we're adding in the storybook into um, Galaxy 2 is actually rather big.
Yep, yep, yep.
Anyway, I don't know
Yes.
what's in the Nintendo Direct, so you guys are gonna have to
Okay.
guide the conversation.
Well,
Yeah.
on the note
Except
of
for one thing.
storybooks,
Except for one thing, Hades 2 got a release date and it's the end of this month. That's cool. Yay!
Yeah. Looks good.
on the
Looks
note of
really
storybooks,
good.
on the note of storybooks, that new Yoshi game that they announced at the end of the Mario section, I am actually really excited about that one. I mean, not elated, not jumping for joy like I was for new Pokemon Snap, but that one looks like a lot of fun. I'm about as excited for it as Princess Peach Showtime, I think. Looks like just that kind of comfortable enjoyment sort of game.
Yeah.
Lots of fun.
That looked pretty fun. There was the Mario Tennis Fever, which has a story mode in which your main cast is turned to babies and has to regain their tennis skills.
And introducing for the first time ever Baby Wario and Baby Waluigi.
Not the first time for Baby Wario, but the first time for Baby Waluigi, which is kind of silly. I kind of dig it.
The joke is right there, but it's way too fucking easy. Like,
But
what are they gonna say? Are they gonna say Waaaa?
yeah,
Are they gonna say
yeah,
Waaaa? Because they're
yeah.
babies.
Other some other noteworthy stuff about the Mario part.
How glad should I be that that completely ruined Patient? I don't like.
There's
It's such a stupid joke, but
Mario Bros. Wonder is getting a Switch 2 edition, which will feature a bunch of multiplayer stuff, but also a bunch of single player stuff they're hinting at and we'll probably talk about later. Probably like an expansion. And that game's really good. It's a really good Mario game. So I'd be excited to like play more of it. Just a really good platformer. Other than that, like that's most of the Mario stuff, other than you can buy a talking flower and it will not shut up, which is nice. Um, let's see, Hades 2, Tomodachi Life. It was announced in the JP Direct, but there's a Mega Man Legacy Star Force collection coming, which I have some friends that are very excited about that.
Yeah,
We're actually going to the
Mega
Star
Man
Force
is okay.
games.
I enjoyed
Yeah.
that gotcha thing they just released the entire thing of on Steam. That was cool.
As a full game.
Yeah.
games I ever played. Honestly,
Patient, you're far away.
We're losing you a little bit.
Am I better now?
Yeah.
Yep.
The only Mega Man game I ever played was Mega Man Legends on the Nintendo 64, which
Okay.
got a sequel and was supposed to get another sequel,
Yes.
and then it did not get another
Yes.
sequel.
Yes, the pain of being a Mega Man fan is very real. Yeah. I could talk about that and my crazy theories about where Mega Man's going, but I'm not going to do that right now
Oh dear. Oh dear.
because I have some crazy theories. But
Stay tuned, listeners, for next week's podcast. A Fandom Flux listens to Zero talk about Mega Man for 3 hours.
there's some conspiracy theories I got, and I would like more Mega Man. But anyways, we got to see more of Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment, which is coming out in November, and I'm rather excited about because it's going to be a Hyrule Warriors game that has a good frame rate,
Yeah,
which
that
is nice.
looks like. And then they announced Dynasty Warriors 2, or was it 3? In any case,
I don't care about that.
I
Nah,
would assume
just figured I'd
3
bring-
because I think 3 is the one people really liked.
Fair.
I
I
vaguely remember that.
I cannot be made to care about Dynasty Warriors. I'm sorry.
I played
That's fair.
7 and it was kind of cool that it had like alternate history versions of how the conflict goes. Like you could play it if Cao Cao actually just fucking kicked everyone's asses. And in the end, he retires and just becomes like a farmer or some shit because he did what he set out to do or something. It was weird. That was cool.
Yeah.
I just figured I'd bring it up since we were talking about another warrior-style game.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Yeah. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment has a character that looks like they're entirely made of like Zonai devices that looks like they have a little bit of resemblance to Link. I'm curious if that's like Fi possessing a body to emulate Link's fighting style or something. That could be cool. There's a Korok that can now fight, and he's like the brave Korok who throws bombs, and I'm like, you go for it, brave Korok. I'm glad that you've risen above the crucifixion of your people in Cheers of the Kingdom.
Yeah. That. Credit to RT Game for that one. Just, yep.
But
Tangentially, on the subject of Warriors games, do you know Pirate Warriors 4 is still getting DLC?
yeah, and is also getting updated for the Switch too.
yeah, they announced it for Switch 2 as well.
I mean, fair enough. That game is newer than I thought it was. That game was like 2020. I thought that was older than that.
Yeah, they keep it up with the anime. So
I think they're
yeah,
releasing like Queen or something.
really excited for Age of Imprisonment because that looks to be actually canon this time in terms of these are the events that happened before Tears of the Kingdom. Because there's a Zelda gets sent to the past at the start of Tears of the Kingdom,
Yeah.
and you can see some memories of it throughout the game, but this actually shows the full story of that, and probably has some cool extra lore bits that I am interested in because I am a fan of the game. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it should be fun. I still need to beat Breath of the Wild before I can play Tears of the Kingdom.
Other things, Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. I have nothing much to say on that except I wish it was Dragon Quest 9.
Dragon Quest.
Dragon
I
Quest.
only know 11.
Yeah. We'll never get to 12, by the way.
Oh no, God no. I mean, there's a really reasonable reason for that.
One thing that they announced that I'm laughing about just looking at it. Their Nintendo Classics for Switch Online, they're adding the Virtual Boy.
With the dedicated accessory you have to buy for it.
For those of you who are too either not tuned into Nintendo history or just too young, or the Virtual Boy was their attempt at VR back in the day. That got canned because it got canned because it made everybody who used it violently ill. It's back, baby.
Yeah.
With a library of 14 games.
Yep, only has 14 games.
Yeah. Here's my thought on that. Testing the waters with a refurbished version of their old product before they decide if they want to launch into an actual full VR experience. And I will be satisfied if they do not, please and thank you.
Yeah, weirdly enough, and I fucking hate that I'm actually saying this, but if they did that, they would actually be following the crowd rather than leading it. Which leading it was pretty much everything that Nintendo was doing for the past 20 years.
Yeah.
The Wii brought in motion controls. The Wii U was the first one to do like handheld and TV, and then they did like a full handheld or TV console that can switch between them, and that led into the Steam Deck, and now we have the Switch 2 that is just another Switch, which is a pivot, let's call.
I mean, how do you go up from there? How do you go up from perfect transition
Well-
between desk on a TV and handheld?
Well, that's the thing. We
Honestly,
didn't know that motion controls were going to be the thing that took the world by storm for about
yeah.
5 to 10 years. And we didn't know that, switching portable to, like, docked TV mode was a thing that could be done reliably either. And Nintendo just kind of did it. So,
Now, to be fair, this is not the only time in which they've made a new console, which is just a straight upgrade.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, NES to
the
SNES
NES to the
and
SNES,
SNES to N64, arguably.
N64 to GameCube,
Yeah.
in which not like they had some little accessories for the GameCube, like the microphone. But I mean, they always kind of have those extra peripherals.
I didn't even talk about the DS and the 3DS. Like, the DS was one thing of just like, hey, dual screen, and one of them is a touch screen. And then we have the 3DS where they say, hey, we're going to put 3DS on this, like, 240 by 360 resolution screen, and it fucking worked. Like,
There was DS, DS Lite, DSi, 3DS, new 3DS, if you remember.
Yeah, but, like, my point being, every single console that they've released since the DS, I want to say that came out before the Wii, was a new idea, a new innovation. That kind of stopped with the Switch 2. So,
I think that they hit like
If
everybody
it
was
isn't broken, don't fix it.
the one thing I will credit them for of new innovation would probably be the mouse control Joy-Cons. That is actually a new and unique idea for what to do with a controller. I will give them credit for that.
Yeah, the mouse controls are super sick, and open up the console to be able to actually play a lot of PC games, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that if you look at the Switch 1 in comparison to the Switch 2, the hardware that the Switch 1 was running on was really, really, really undertuned.
It was outdated at the time of release, and it did not get better over the 8 years it was their primary machine.
The Switch 2 is a major upgrade that was very much needed. If they go with something else, it's really hard because right now they're in that good niche where the Switch is portable, and that's one thing that it really has going for it. If you trade that off to become just a normal console again, then you end up kind of throwing away your lead that you have. So it's kind of in a weird space.
They can't get rid of the hybrid home console, portable console thing anymore. That is a feature that they kind of have to stick with. I will absolutely agree with you there because, again, they have competition in that market now. Steam would eat their lunch. But more than they already are. But yeah, there is also the matter of Nintendo have always struggled to get third-party games on their machines, and we happen to be in a moment in the industry when power and fidelity are less of a growing concern because we've plateaued a little bit on that front. Like, developers don't want to spend more money, publishers don't want to spend more money on the fanciest graphics and the most impressive performance because that shit is already so expensive. So just a machine that can keep up with what we have now is probably more future-proof than anything they would have released in the past 20 years.
Yeah. And it still has all of the motion controls of the Wii and everything on top of it. So
yeah. That no one else is going to use that much, but fine. Like, that's fine.
I mean, yeah. To talk about more direct games, they showed a bit more of Metroid Prime 4, in which Samus now has a motorcycle.
And it's an open world transitions to FPS.
I'm not sure to what extent it is open, whether it's actually fully open world, or if it's just you have open zones that have different spots, and this is just a way of getting there quickly. Mic, please. Yeah, or whether it's just a way of getting there quickly. I don't know if it's like open world versus open zone, but I mean,
Nintendo have definitely been hit or miss when it comes to open worlds.
It depends on who is working on it, and this is Retro that's working on it, so they're pretty good at it.
Okay.
I mean, are you thinking that might be something kind of like kind of like Wind Waker, where you have this big open ocean with occasional monsters and occasional really big monsters and a few secrets, but it's mostly on the islands where you find things.
I think it's gonna
Just as
be
a loose comparison.
um no, what I think it's gonna be is that you will have on each if you go to different planets, it's gonna be like a set area on each planet in which you can go from point A to point B, but there's like a few of the kind of like the Wind Waker example we brought up of a few different islands or bosses to fight along the way, but it's mostly just there to travel and like immerse yourself in the world and find some things because it is at its heart like Metroid is a series built around isolated on an alien planet and finding secrets.
As someone who has recently played an open world game that has a very shallow open world where you just travel from place to place, doesn't feel great. Just want to say that.
Yeah, I'm just I'll have to see how it actually plays out
Yeah.
because it looks like you can like attack enemies while on the motorcycle, so you have some combat as well.
You can definitely that was pretty cool.
Also, Donkey Kong Bonanza got DLC that came out the same day as Direct.
One other thing on Metroid before we move
Yep.
on. On the Amiibo that they announced for it, apparently they named the motorbike. It's Viola.
Nice.
Okay, that's a name? I'm going to take a stab in the dark and say that is not a Bayonetta reference.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, when they started that trailer, I initially thought it might be Bayonetta.
Now, for there was Donkey Kong DLC, which is they're adding DK Island as well as a side mode called Emerald Rush.
And they had a remix of the original Donkey Kong Island music from Donkey Kong 64. It's been so long since I heard that tune. So lovely.
I wonder
not
if they
played it
credited
yet.
Grant Kirkhope this time.
I don't know. I've not played it yet, but apparently there's upwards of like 18 hours of content to get everything, which sounds substantial, but it also sounds like there's not really a whole lot to do on the island itself other than just Emerald Rush, which is a roguelike mode. So, I'll be trying it out later. There was also the Eldritch Horror that is Pokemon Pokopia.
I mean, I'm honestly kind of charmed about the
Can't
game.
really hear you,
Yes,
Patient.
there's a distinct.
There we go.
Yeah,
Sorry.
sorry. Yeah, I'm kind of charmed about that game, honestly. Yes, there's a distinct uncanny valley with Ditto, but it looks fun.
I love joking about it because it is Eldritch Horror. So for Casey who didn't watch Direct, there is this strange deserted island, and on there, a Ditto finds what appears to be like an ID of it and a trainer, and decides, you know what, I'm going to transform into a human form with my strange Ditto face. And then goes around the island, learning different moves from Pokemon to then eldritchly transform its body into like its arms and vines or something to interact with the island, and it's just Animal Crossing Minecraft island Pokemon.
Sure.
Yeah, basically.
I'm just saying, I've definitely heard of, let's say, illicit creative works that have gone with something similar to this premise.
Huh. Anyway, you meet Pokemon, you can copy their moves and use them to customize the island, I guess. I'm not quite sure if it's just like, hey, make a fun island, or if there's actually any story.
I'm going to assume it's literally just Animal Crossing, but with Pokemon.
I
I had heard of it, sorry. I should have mentioned I had heard that this was a thing that was announced.
Also, speaking of Pokemon, Legends ZA got a new trailer, which shows Mega Delphox, Chestnut, Greninja they now have Mega forms, and
Didn't Greninja already have a Mega form?
No, that was something different specifically between Greninja and Ash, and with Ash gone now.
Yeah,
Thank you for instantly knowing what I was talking about.
yeah, the Ash Greninja form.
Yeah.
I will say, um, I'm pretty excited for ZA just because I really liked Pokemon Legends Arceus, and the catching mechanics looked pretty fun. I still think that the game, like, the game looks better than Scarlet and Violet, but it doesn't quite look where I want Pokemon to look, if you get what I mean there.
That's understandable. But, I mean, they just. Something needs to give there. They're just not putting in the. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
It's, I mean, arguably, like, ZA is still a Switch 1 game that just got moved over to Switch 2. It is very much still a Switch 1 game. So
Some, yeah, yeah.
I'd have to see what the next generation looks like to really see if they're going to be doing anything big with making the games actually look nice. But, you know,
Let us hope so. Also, they announced DLC for ZA, paid DLC, and I have been keeping track. All of the megas that they've revealed so far, there was a list of leaked megas, and it's been right every time. And now we have this DLC that announces Mega Raichu X and Mega Raichu Y. Those were not hinted on the list. So suddenly I'm a lot more excited because how many more unleaked megas are there?
Mega Flagon.
that would be
Yes,
nice.
please,
Mega
and
Flagon.
thank you. Please.
Now,
Please.
the reason why I'm like heavy on this is like, first of all, yes, I know they announced DLC before the game came out, but
Yeah.
with there was no DLC expansion for Arceus, even though there really should have been, because that game still ends on a massive, massive cliffhanger. Um, so it is a good sign that they're supporting the game at least, and are going to be adding more stuff after it, and they're not jumping straight into the next generation game. Please, please don't announce Generation 10 in like spring of next year. Just let it come out
I
November of next
think
year.
I think they learned their lesson with Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah, yeah, I hope so.
Arceus
Um,
ended with a cliffhanger. Didn't it have
Yeah, I
yes,
was curious about that too.
don't you
It was a pretty
fight
clean.
Satan at the end?
you never
No,
go
no.
back to your own time.
Well,
Okay,
yeah.
yes, there is that.
I mean,
That is
you have
never
to stay so you
addressed.
can like blink and like eventually have Dawn or the other one as your descendant.
You are never, it's never addressed that going back to your own time, even though you've solved the major threat that you were summoned back in time for, and then some,
I
and
mean,
even meet God, and God's just like, all right, cool, I'm just gonna go adventure with you for a little bit, and then you never get
Yeah,
sent back to your own time.
yeah.
I mean,
That doesn't
I
feel like
mean,
a
never.
cliffhanger. That feels like the end of the story, and God's a dick.
Please don't say that. And it's forever is a very strong word there. It's something of an open ending. Suddenly, you've finished all of the tasks that you were called for. Everything's done. So now you just have to shoot back to your own time all of a sudden? No. Stay and enjoy the fruits of your labors for a while. Then decide to go back.
I
That's
would have
my
liked,
take on it.
I would have liked a cutscene that showed you going back to your own time. I don't think that's too much to ask for.
I, I, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I have seen a lot of stories that are isekai or isekai adjacent, and one of the most annoying plot points is always, I want to go back to my regular real life where I'm fucking nobody and everyone kind of thinks I'm just a piece of shit and I have no prospects and everything sucks and I'm lonely and I don't have friends like I have here. But I really want to go back though because
You see, that doesn't apply in this case because it is heavily hinted at that this is your champion character from that generation, the one who actually went on their whole full Pokemon journey, beat the Elite Four, became the champion, and that's why they were chosen and thrown back here.
oh my god, it's Futurama.
which means that character is just forever stuck in the past now. Too bad.
I let's agree to disagree, and can we just
Okay.
proceed from there? Because if we want to talk about nightmarish things, they announced Resident Evil 7, 8, and 9 for the Switch too.
Oh, 9 looks cooked. That those hair textures look bad.
Yeah, there's always going to be losses when it comes to. I did say it's going to be able to run for a while, but it's still
Resident
not going to
Evil is a
look
bit different.
great. But it'll run.
Yeah, like 7 and 8 look fine, but 9 is the newest one, and like I'm not gonna, I would not recommend that on Switch 2 necessarily, but it's gonna be good there. It's gonna be an option.
It is, and if you want to play it portable, it is probably going to be the best option.
Um,
I would be impressed if, well, Steam Deck maybe like aren't Steam doing like a new Steam Deck, like an updated version?
I don't know. I don't follow Steam Deck stuff.
Oh, yeah. I would have to look into.
Uh,
I'm gonna Google that just now to just like you can keep talking.
yeah. Um, but yeah, no, those are coming, which is pretty good. Uh, and one thing I'm really excited for is Danganronpa 2 by 2.
Hmm. I, the whole despair-focused premise of Danganronpa just turns me off of it. But I mean, I can
Danganronpa is
appreciate
not
how
about despair. Danganronpa is about the
there's a
battle of
lot of.
hope versus despair.
I
Okay, I searched it up, and there are plans for an updated Steam Deck that maybe releases next year or after that. So they
Okay.
are looking at it, but they haven't nailed anything down yet.
Sorry, you were saying, patient?
mm, it's a very fair and very important distinction. Still, based on what you have to go through, all of those deaths on the way, no thank you. I'll pass on that myself.
Mm. So, Danganronpa is, for anybody who is unaware, is a series of people being stuck in a death game in which they are motivated to kill each other and attempt to get away with it. And you are basically the whole premise is set up for your character to be the detective who is trying to piece together who did the murder, who's the guilty party, and essentially get them to, get kicked off the island, as it were. Um, really
So a
good
more
mysteries.
sur-
Yeah.
so a more intense survivor where you're actually trying to survive.
Yes. And you are investigating crime scenes. You're, interrogating people, and a lot of the gameplay comes in the form of arguments in which you are trying to take apart the other person's argument by shooting it with truth bullets in some games, or cutting through to present like the truth of the matter using pieces of evidence and like mini games and stuff to try to essentially get down to the truth. And it doesn't always tell you who it is, but you have to kind of look at the evidence and come to your own conclusions of being like, okay, looking at this, there's only these people that could do this, and of them, the evidence only fits this person, right? So, really, really fun to engage with and detective brain your way through them. The mysteries are usually pretty well presented. It's sad because characters you like may die, but I mean, not all of them are going to die. There's inevitably going to be some survivors. Um,
Also, they did a collab with that one shitty RPG game where you bang it out to create your party members or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, Conception too.
Yeah.
Wonderful time.
Why did we
But
play that? Anyway.
it's great. But Danganronpa 2 by 2 is Danganronpa 2 is a kind of unique game where I'm not going to spoil anything, but the entire setting and situation is very, very different from one because one is just a straight up death game. Two takes a very different approach. And it's only really revealed how different it is when you beat it and you get to the end. Um, 2 by 2, 2 times 2 is 4. Because Danganronpa 2 has a side story and an additional story in which it's entirely like things branch off onto a different path. This is essentially Danganronpa 4 because 3 can't go anywhere, literally. Like 3 hits a dead end. So I think what they're trying to do is go on an alternate timeline that eventually will lead to more games in the series or something down the line.
Interesting.
because three's just a dead end. It's a good ending. It's a very good ending, multimedia ending, in fact. And I love the series, but because again, the series is ultimately the triumph of hope over despair. The bad guys want to cause despair, and it's the willingness of the people who cling on to hope, despite all that, that is what able to overthrow them in the end. So,
Anyway,
yeah, really good. Really excited for that, and I'm gonna probably be yapping about that to my Danganronpa obsessed friends in a little bit. But the other thing that I think was really that I want to talk about, and other people may want to talk about anything else, but there was a Fire Emblem announcement.
oh yeah, there was. It's a new game, right?
Yep, and it is actually a technical sequel to Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Huh. I mean, they're
The
all
girl,
kind of technical sequels, kind of, sort of.
no, they're not.
Yeah.
Most of the time, they're in completely different worlds, so it's actually rather rare when you return to the same world.
Yeah, I got tricked by Awakening, kind of feeling like, oh yeah, there's Moth, the hero king of old. So okay, let's Moth, but no, that's not how it works most of the time, apparently.
Yeah, most of the time, they are completely different worlds or different time zones or time frames in the same world. Um, the one of the only examples I can think of having multiple games in the same world that stand out to me is the Tellius games, in which you have Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn, the Ike games, and those are really good, but like because they were sequential and people were not aware that you had to play Path of Radiance to understand what's happening in Radiant Dawn did very poorly.
I think I might have started playing Radiant Dawn, and that was my first Fire Emblem game.
Oh
Yeah,
dear.
that's not a good place to start.
Yeah, might
I'll
might
say right
might
now.
have might have been a mistake. Now that I know that, so okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
I mean, I did play other ones later, but yes.
Path of Radiance is a really good game. Radiant Dawn builds on everything that was built up in there. Um, so like as a duology, they're really good. However, because it was kind of botched in the marketing and the advertising, and the a lot of other developmental parts, it almost caused the end of the entire franchise, which sucks. But Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, as given by the character who appears at the end of the trailer, appears to be a game that takes place many centuries after Three Houses.
Long enough that we don't have to say who won.
Yes.
Probably. Yeah.
Long enough that we can just kind of ignore some of the issues with that game. Also, you're in a Colosseum now. Hey, everybody. Greco-Roman influence. We're going to fight in a Colosseum in a tournament arc,
Oh, cool.
which sounds really fun,
It
actually.
does.
I
Yeah,
would like
I'm
a.
actually down for that. That sounds awesome.
And you can like go out open world explore around the Colosseum in the like city or whatever, and then go fight and team up with your people. And so I'm guessing if they have alternate endings, it'll be depending on like who you're fighting and who wins, and that just seems like a lot more fun than being a teacher. I say
School.
as my
Yeah.
day job is being a teacher.
Yeah. Maybe you don't want to go back to Three Houses anymore nowadays.
I do not. No, I don't want to grade any more papers.
Yeah.
Here's this really, really fun game, critically acclaimed. You're just doing more of your day job.
I
I mean,
not a
let's
fan
be
of that.
real. There's some fucking like cleaners probably don't want to play Power Wash Simulator or Viscera Cleanup Detail. Actually, Slicer was really into Viscera Cleanup Detail. Now I remember, and he was a
I
cleaner.
would
So
I would actually say that people who like to clean will play Power Wash Simulator because it's still satisfying.
yeah, that's
It
true.
is extremely satisfying.
It
Power
is.
Wash Simulator 2 that they announced in the direct, I'm actually interested in that game. Especially the multiplayer aspect of it. It seems like something that my family and I could enjoy from our different locations and just sit down for a relaxing afternoon of satisfying cleanup. It's
Yeah.
it's odd that we would find that fun, but I can't overstate how satisfying it is.
Yeah, that first game
Yeah.
got fucking weird with the crossovers. That kind of like it was like SpongeBob and fucking Final Fantasy. I think with two of them. It's
Hmm.
weird.
So, uh, excited for Fortune's Wave. It looks really good. Um, and it looks like they're doing some interesting things with the combat. If anybody ever played Fire Emblem Engage, mechanically was one of the most fun Fire Emblems to play that I've ever had the opportunity to play. Like they did a lot with how that game progresses, and so it felt very active and very like enjoyable. The story in Engage is not great. Like it's serviceable, but the gameplay was really, really like great. And it looks like the story in the new one, which is Fortune's Weave, is going to be really good. So if gameplay's good, story's good, then I have no complaints.
And there were a few other games announced at the Direct, but none of the rest of them really leap to mind as something interesting. I mean, there was that one color-based collaboration multiplayer game early on. Most of the people I watched react to that said it looks pretty fun.
It's
There was a
already out
distinct
on.
element of teaming.
It's already out on Steam, I think, though,
Ah,
or like a early release version of early access, I think.
makes sense. So just more cross releases.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of people were excited about the new Stardew Valley on Switch too.
Yeah, because you can use the mouse controls to play Stardew Valley.
Yeah, that's honestly, I use the mouse controls, but control it with a controller. So I feel like I am in the weirdest pocket in terms of user experience for that game.
Interesting.
But yeah, that game is also getting a 1.7 update at some point in the future. I have gone on the record in my feelings of how that game needs to just be left alone at this point so modders can relax. But, whatever. It's his game, he can do what he wants with it. The remake, Final Fantasy Remake Trilogy is on Switch as well. I'm just running through all the things that in IGN's recap article.
Yeah.
Overcooked 2.
I mean, that's most of the stuff we got was all the big details.
All the big ones. I'm just checking for like anything that might slip by because you guys are Nintendo fans and I'm not. Monster Hunter Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection for the Mortal Kombat fans that probably still exist, even if they're not big on Mortal Kombat 1, understandably. But Suika Game Planet.
Yeah,
that thing that just became
box.
everything for like a month, even though it was only in Japanese.
It is oddly satisfying, and it is interesting seeing them just turn it from fill up this box to shift around a center of gravity here.
Like, more power to them. Like, that was a weird side project for their company that doesn't do game design at all. And they just tossed it out there and it became like a mega hit. It was crazy. So, okay, pivot and just fucking roll with it. You've got a hit. Just, play into it.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
Fatal Frame 2 is a game and a series that has not been touched for a long, long time. I am surprised neither of you mentioned it.
I mean, I'd heard that Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly, I remembered it earlier on, probably when we were talking about Resident Evil, just another horror game. But, I mean, it's not a game that I've played much of, so don't know what to say.
Fair enough.
And I mean, I'm not into the sort of dark horror-themed games either. I prefer the more bright and colorful and cheery ones that have Eldritch Abominations as the final boss. Oh, wait, I'm talking about Kirby here. And they did announce more news for Kirby Air Riders, now that you mention it, including announcing a second Direct at some point in the future. No date for it, but it's been confirmed that Sakurai will be giving another presentation on this game. It is getting a lot of hype. And I mean, with Sakurai at the helm, we can't really blame them. But
Well,
yeah, I
there's
think this
plenty to
is.
still announce.
Yeah, yeah.
There was a hint at the end of some sort of story mode, so we'll see.
Oh dear.
So last thing would be ports for the Switch 2, and it's like whatever. It's EA Sports FC, the football game. Little Nightmares, Persona 3 Reload, which is that makes sense. Lego Voyagers, I don't even know what that is. Oh, we never actually talked about they're doing a Lego Batman, but in the style of the Skywalker saga that they did. That was like just a massive, gigantic Star Wars thing that was open world Lego and stuff, and it was really really cool. Like actually, genuinely a really good game. And they're doing the same thing for Batman, and that's kind of cool. Like just all across all kinds of Batman. So you've got the Dark Knight trilogy, you've got like the Tim Burton stuff, I think, and other bits of Batman lore and esoterica just kind of thrown in there, and it's all going to be a thing. It looks really good. I'm totally down for another one of those when that comes out.
I mean, if they've got an established pedigree, then yeah.
Disgaea 7, I played one for like 3 hours, and it was cumbersome and annoying, and I hated it, so I can't really speak to the quality of that series at all. It's just definitely not for me. Did you like Disgaea 0? I feel like you liked it.
No, I think Slicer was into that one.
Yeah. I only thing I liked about Disgaea was the Prinnies. The Prinnies are just... Dragon Quest 1 and 2, or Dragon Warrior as it was known in the West, I believe. That's who cares?
Yeah, that they mentioned that one at the last direct.
Yeah, Virtua Fighter 5, which I understand is a good one, I think. That's coming. Cool. And 2 Point Museum. I have played a couple of the 2 Point games. Those are neat little, just sort of tycoon things of just like build your own whatever the theme is for this game, and they kind of have the energy of like the old theme hospital and theme park games back in the day from Bullfrog. They're a little bit zany in how they approach whatever thing, like just throwing out weird concepts. Like in hospital, it was like you had a big head as a disease, and to cure it, they had to pop it so that it would deflate. It was weird, but it was great. So it's got that kind of energy, and I appreciate that.
I can confirm this. I actually bought 2 Point Museum on Steam a while back. I enjoyed it up to an extent, but oddly enough, I just don't have the patience for building up everything at the pace that it's going.
Yeah, it is a very slow vibe game. Yeah,
not quite the sort of thing I'm looking for.
But that was the last thing on the list. So yeah, that's Nintendo Direct. They're doing the thing. Fuck that company, but also okay.
Yeah. So
I'm sorry. My days of being unequivocally like just neutral about everything Nintendo, that died last week. So sorry.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I won't expect you to go back to that until this patent thing blows up in their faces, and it's only a matter of time.
Right.
And now here's Zero with all the news on Silksong.
Yeah, I mean, I can pretend to be enthusiastic. I'll play it eventually.
I completed Hollow Knight Silksong. My percentage of completion is at 100% according to the game itself.
Oh, neat. You fucking mainlined that game. Okay.
I have not found every hidden room necessarily. There's some secrets I still haven't quite uncovered, but I've fought every boss. I've gotten the true ending, and I've collected every item that is like necessary for character power. So yeah, Hollow Knight Silksong is a very difficult game. Now, Hollow Knight originally was a difficult game. However, it was difficult in a different way. Um, for example, your character is rather like the best thing you can do in most situations is jump up, down slash on top of an enemy, and pogo off of them for a little bit. And there's typically they can't do anything about that. You can also just hit them and spam spells, and like that will solve most things. It is difficult, but mostly only for the bosses. Most encounters with typical enemies are not going to be difficult. It's really just the bosses in which you're going to die a lot in Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight Silk Song is difficult in a different way because first of all, it assumes that you've beaten Hollow Knight in terms of the difficulty. Um, Hornet also fights very differently. At first, she can bounce off of enemies by going at a like 45-degree angle, like a down kick for her down attack in the air instead of a pogo like down slash, which changes how you engage with enemies, and enemies can typically hit much harder. In fact, they more of them have more full move sets, which means that when they do arenas in which you have to fight waves of enemies, the different combinations of enemies matter, and that it can be very difficult even though you're just fighting like two or three enemies at a time and not even a boss. However, to compensate, she heals 3 pips of health instead of the one at a time that Knight does in Hollow Knight. And she can also heal in midair, so you can get to the top of an arena and heal, and nobody can really do anything to you about it most of the time. So it's trade-off, right? I think it's fairly balanced in regards to that. It's going to kick your teeth in. It is a very hard game, and it's super, super fun. It is so much fun, especially when you get the different traversal abilities that can also be used in combat. Like you have one where you throw out your her needle, and she then zooms over to them using it as like a grappling hook. You can use that in battle to zoom over towards a distant enemy, and then go up above them to then follow up and combo that with like a down attack, and that's really satisfying to pull off. The game is massive. Like Hollow Knight is a massive game. Silksong is way bigger. And I kept finding more and more and more new areas as I ventured through it. Oh, you have all these different tools that you can use to engage with enemies outside of just swinging your sword at them. One of the most powerful ones being just setting up a bunch of tacks on the ground so that enemies that can't really go in the air just have to step on them and continuously take damage. And then you can add another tool that then turns those into poison tacks, which then deal poison damage and damage over time. And like, there's so many different combinations you can make for your build for the Hornet. And then you get to like customization with, oh, here are these crests now, and crests change your entire move set. And also what types of tools you equip and how many of each type you can equip. And so now instead of like doing the 45-degree down strike in the air, you can now do that pogo that you got from Hollow Knight, or you can do a freaking giant spin attack, or multiple other different things. They spent their time developing this game, and it shows. It also features, since Hornet is her own character, she has spoken dialogue. I mean, as in, she'll have dialogue text box and she'll make a video game noise, because they don't speak English. But um, she is an active participant in the game and its story and has a lot to say to certain characters. And that's really cool compared to your character from Hollow Knight 1 or Hollow Knight, the knight who just is completely silent the entire time. But Hornet talks to people and she engages with that. And that's really nice to see. It's a fantastic game with some really difficult stuff in it that I'm sure is going to frustrate people who are just coming to it fresh or are not like prepared for that, because it's so hype, new big game, you didn't get your teeth pushed in. So it's not a bad thing, but it can require a certain mentality of, okay, I'm going to die a lot. I should probably like prepare for that and, be ready. But once you master the systems of the game, it has a really high skill ceiling. It is super, super fun. Super fun to just dance and move in the air. And each battle towards the end of that game feels like a dance because of the moves you're pulling off and when you pull it off perfectly. And They have their silk skills, and you can find one silk skill in particular, and it's my favorite one in the game. You know what it does?
No.
Any guesses? Okay, so there's a skill that just is parry and do an immediate counterattack.
Okay.
And once I got that, I was like, everything's changed. And you get invincible frames while you are counterattacking, and it's awesome. Um, that all being said, with the story being great, the music's being great, the gameplay's being great, there's one area I really do not like. You know how there's that joke about how, Miyazaki loves those poison
I knew
swamps?
you were going to say that. Okay. What is it this time?
There's an area called Bile Water. And Bile Water is where all of the refuse and garbage gets dumped from the massive citadel above it. It is the most poison of swamps, with water that is filled with maggots. And if you fall into that water, they infect your life bar and make it so that you cannot heal unless you use one of your built up silk bars that you've built up by striking enemies to expunge all of them. And then you have to fill it up again to heal, which means getting like 8 to 10 strikes on enemies and then using that to heal without falling into the bile water. By the way, in this area, all of the enemies explode when they die for the most part, and the explosion can send you into the water.
Mm.
Other enemies jump in and out and fire explosives that can also send you into the water. There's a lot of push to push you into the bile water and rid you of your ability to heal, which is pretty terrible in this game, in which damage is really high and your heal is very strong and you need it very badly. There's a boss in this area, and to get to this boss, you have to go through a lot of very difficult rooms with tons of the bile water, tons of enemies, to get to the boss arena, in which you will then fight an arena of enemies over the water, and then the boss. And it's a rather difficult challenge. If you die, you are sent all the way back to the last bench that you rested at, which is right at the beginning of the zone.
Hmm.
Now, there's another bench in there. You go up and you find that bench, like, oh, thank goodness. I go to this bench, and the bench breaks and you drops you into a vat of bile water. And like, that's terrible. Why would you do this? Why do you hate me, developers? But then I found out there's a third bench hidden. And how do you get it? You have to go to a hidden area under a stage, which is not clear that's even there, by swimming in the bile water.
Hmm.
And now sitting in that bench will heal you to full, expel all the maggots from you. Great. In order to get back out and continue towards the boss, you're going to have to be either really good at platforming or you're going to have to jump into the bile water and swim through it. And that bench is only halfway through the zone. So you still have to do the other halfway run to that boss. It is one of the worst experiences I've had in the game. In fact, it is the worst experience I've had in the game. That's why I'm talking about it.
Hmm.
It is painful. It is punishing. It is required to get the true ending. It is not optional.
You start to wonder whether that whole Miyazaki swamp thing is starting to become an internal meme in the games industry. It really shouldn't be. It's not a good thing and everyone hates it. And even Miyazaki knows, hey, everyone hates it, I need to stop doing this. He just can't help himself.
Mm.
It's not a good reason for other people to copy that. It's
It's mm. Yeah, no, I don't like that area, but once I was done with that area, I was like, finally, I never have to go back here again, only to find out later on that there was an item in a different area I could have gotten that would have made it so that I could actually resist that bile water one time and that would break and repair at a bench, so I could have been having an easier time than I did. But it was also a hidden item that I didn't find, so, I mean, screw me, I guess. Um, but yeah, no, with Silk Song, that game is extremely massive. Like every time I think I'm nearing the end, it just here's more stuff, here's more stuff, here's more stuff, and
what's the clock looking like?
uh, in terms of how long it took me to beat,
Yep.
about 40 hours, which is not as big as it could be, Granted, I was trying to 100% everything, and I was taking my time exploring, but
I
like,
feel like that's more than enough for the type of game that it is.
yeah, I didn't die nearly as much as other people would on some bosses, because I think the longest a boss ever took me was like 2 hours. For some people, that would go on for like 5 hours. So, mm, it really just the game punishes you for trying to play it like Hollow Knight. In Hollow Knight, you can be pretty aggressive and like do pretty well. In this game, you have to be very agile, very ready to move, very quick to respond, and sometimes it's just better to take it slow and to not be aggressive and just take your hits when you can. So don't be just rushing in all the time because you will get hit because you're not watching for the actual tells of the boss, and all the bosses have tells. You just have to be looking for it. And I think that a lot of people who are playing the game right now probably aren't looking for those. They're like, oh man, why'd I get hit? And it's like, well, you're not actually watching the fight and learning from what the boss is doing. And I went over and I decided, let me try another save and just see how I do at the beginning of the game. And I'm like, I still die a few times at some of the at one particular boss, but for the most part, having played it for so much, I feel like I've gotten a really good master of the controls and I can do pretty well. It's just it takes a bit of getting used to, and once you're used to it, then like it feels very satisfying to pull off. This is gonna be in talks for like game of the year conversations.
Probably.
Be- because yeah, I'm not sure. I would say this is like the greatest game of the year, but it was a ton of fun, and I really enjoyed my time with it.
I mean, what's the competition at the moment? At the moment, it's Expedition 33. Let's be real. And even having not played it, I'd probably say Silk Song over Expedition 33.
Yeah, it's just I really liked Donkey Kong Bonanza as well.
That's not got a chance. They did their throwback platformer Game of the Year award for, last year for Astrobot.
Yeah,
That's not happening twice in a row.
I mean, I'm talking about my own personal game of the year
Oh
pick,
yeah,
I guess.
yeah,
Just because,
yeah. It's
I
just now that you've asked, I'm actually wondering. Like,
yeah, I just beat Silk Song like a few days ago, so I'm still kind of like processing everything. I think it's a fantastic game. I think it's a ton of fun. And I think that I'm going to play it a lot more in the future. Probably learn a lot more about that game. I think that the overall vibe of it is very different, and anybody who's going in trying to play it like Hollow Knight's going to have a hard time. But anybody who doesn't have the willingness to quickly learn the systems is also going to have a hard time because it can be pretty tough to pick up. But yeah, any questions about Silk Song?
oh, really? Sorry, it just
It's okay.
remains not my thing until I play it, despite your recommendation like 3 years from now, and then eventually is like, hey, did you know that Silk Song is a really good game?
Yes, this happens.
It does. Yeah, this happened with Undertale, and is
Yeah.
presumably going to happen once I finish Deltarune.
Yeah.
Started that and then just kind of stopped immediately.
I still need to play Undertale and Hollow Knight and Deltarune and now Silksong. There's a lot of games that I need to play that I haven't yet. Oh yeah, and Hades, which I actually own and haven't started yet. And Donkey Kong Bonanza. Well, in that case, I don't have a Switch 2 yet. I just bought the game before I got the Switch 2. But yeah.
I will say, Hollow Knight's actually much easier to pick up. Now, I will say that for both Silk Song and Hollow Knight, you're gonna need to give it a little bit of time to really get what the game's going for.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I was initially not feeling it on Silk Song, but once I started to get more of the options opened up to me, I was like, okay, yeah, now I'm having fun. Like, the game starts you off pretty weak, and once you realize, oh, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this, it feels much better. Especially once you have the ability to dash.
Good to know. That's probably going to be important. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Because Hornet's dash is also a sprint. And so Hornet can sprint through areas, which means she can also, like, go through these big areas much faster, and the areas in Silksong are much bigger than Hollow Knight. So once you have that dash, which is also an air dash, it feels really good. So yeah,
I am looking through the games that were released this year, and I am looking at a sea of garbage.
yeah, no, it's not really a lot of competition, to be honest.
Not really. The first one that I saw was noticeable was Yakuza Pirate in Hawaii.
Yeah.
uh, Assassin's Creed Shadows will probably get a nod it doesn't deserve.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um, yeah. It's not been like a banger year
yeah, not
for the most
exactly a
part.
banner year like 2023 was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not a ton of competition there.
I mean, the
Let's
Phantom
see.
X came out. That's.
Oh yeah, yeah. You recommended that game to me.
I did once. I apologize. Apparently, it's gotten better since, but I'm not going back because fuck you.
I
I'm not gonna wait to get screwed twice. So
mhm. I think other than Silk Song, which was my big yap thing that I wanted to yap about for a bit, which is it's a very good game. It has a lot more to it. It feels more fully realized than Hollow Knight. It's gonna have DLC later on that's gonna add even more stuff because they cannot help themselves. Also, the game's $20,
that's true.
which is nice. Um, I would say, let's see, I went to um, we found out there was a little bit of a Polish festival going on in my town. So me and my family went to go to a Polish festival and get some good sausages, and it was
Yeah.
great. And I loved it. It was extremely cramped and hot though, because it was a much smaller venue than we were expecting, and it was really hot outside, and there was a long line for everything. But I got to have my big sausage sandwich, and that made me very happy.
Sausage sandwiches are good.
Mm-hmm. Especially when they're
You're
fresh and
making me
stretchy.
hungry.
Other than that, I'm still working out. Pants are feeling looser, so that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Uh, and still teaching all the children, which they're doing a really good job. In fact, they did such a good job with the fire drill that all of fourth grade got shouted out on the intercom for doing a great job during the fire drill. I was so happy. Oh man, my students are awesome. So like work's going great. I'm getting lots of compliments from my bosses. So that's really nice. Helps being much more experienced in the position and knowing what I'm actually doing. Helps out a lot. And let's see. Oh yeah, Peacemaker's still going on. Watching Peacemaker. That is continuing to be a good show. Don't have much more to say on that because a lot of my time is spent with either working or taking care of my little baby nephew or the occasional gotcha games, which are I'm still playing Honkai Star Rail, and I've fallen off a bunch of the others because Silk Song basically consumed my life
Yeah.
for a while. 14 had a new patch in which they did more space stuff, and there's a space captain outfit which I bought. You could earn it, but that's like chance based, and I was like, no, I'll just spend the money with Gil in-game currency rather. So cool space captain outfit and a bunch of other stuff. They have now a space hoverboard that I want, but I'm going to have to earn that one because it's too expensive. My new free company got a new free company house, which is nice. To actually have one after we broke off from the other free company because the leader of that free company was rather toxic and would not surrender the position. So we had a mass exodus of that, and that's been going well. So yeah, I think that about covers it for the most things that I would want to talk about right now. I can't think of anything else at the moment.
So I've been looking through the list of game releases this year, and Indiana Jones has probably got a shot.
Maybe.
Ghost of Yote, that's coming out next month. That's definitely getting a nod.
Metroid Prime 4 comes out in December, so
Not a
that
chance.
might be a little bit too late.
It's past the deadline anyway. I think the
Yeah.
deadline's halfway through November. So Expedition 33 is going to get a nod. Silk Song is going to get a nod. and that leaves one spot that might go to Assassin's Creed Shadows, or it might go to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I'm not sure. Or they might just chuck Hades 2 in there. Like, who knows?
They've broken the rules before, whenever they want to. But, quick shout out to our patrons, by the way.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing the patron thing, and then we're going to be doing spoilers for half of Expedition 33. So,
yeah. Thank you to James MacArthur, Rehitsia21, Vale, Greek Guy, Ethan F., and the Crossbrain. Thank you very much for your support.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
We want to talk spoilers?
Yeah. So, Patient, do you want to be here for this, or do you want to bow out?
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Zenless Zero.
Of me?
Okay.
Not a huge fan of me. I understand. I'm not a huge fan of me either. Just kidding.
Okay.
You know that's how.
I meant for Expedition 33.
Yeah. Well, I don't really have anything to add, and I mean, I don't think that I'll be interested in it, but I've been mistaken about
it is a really good JRPG. Well, JRPG because it's French. I really do recommend it, honestly. Like, despite all the shit I said earlier, I still really recommend it.
All right, I'll go ahead and bow out for now then, just to make sure that I don't have another great game spoiled at the end for me before I even lay eyes on it. So I'll see you guys next week, most likely, and
okay, fair enough.
All right, so let's talk about the expedition.
So, I'm not sure if I mentioned this the last time we talked about it, but I got the twist at the end of Act 1 spoiled for me.
Yeah.
So, that there are some things I really, really like about the way they handled that. There are some things I really don't.
Okay.
So, I feel like this has been a long enough time for people to bow out if they don't want to hear spoilers for Expedition 33. I am reminding people of that so that they know that after this sentence finishes, we will be spoiling Expedition 33's Act 1 and most of, maybe half of Act 2, I'm not entirely sure. Okay. So, Gustav dies.
Yep.
And they really lay up that he is about to die a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hey, have half of the party jump off of the cliff, and then the other half are just sort of dicking around for no reason for 30 seconds. Like, okay, all right, we're getting into something. I probably would have been like, oh, okay, they're about to do something, even if I hadn't been spoiled. Nothing wrong with telegraphing something though. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's a tension builder in that sense of like, okay, what are we doing here? This is weird, and it feels purposeful. What are we? Oh, yeah. and then you hear the of Renoir showing up as he always does.
Yep.
The way he dies, fair play. Can't complain about that. That was really cool, and just like all of the conversations that they have had about that scenario, like just play out, and it's great.
Yes, it's very well built up. Like, you know this is going to happen. Everything that happens before that to make that moment make sense. Even the throwing the rocks happens earlier in the story. It
happens several times, and like they talk about why they're doing it, and why he does it, because it's his hobby, quote unquote. And they actually have the conversation of what they will do if they see Renoir again. And they're like, you see him, you run. She's like, only if you do too. And he's like, oh, fuck, I'm just gone if he shows up. Just
Yeah.
Yeah. So the way they handle that, good. Bit I'm less of a fan of is immediately introducing Snowball 2. Like instantly, as soon as Gustav goes down, we get a new Gustav who who looks almost identical to him and has most of the same skills, and it's like instantly he is now in the party.
Now,
Like,
I will actually say, knowing what I know, it's thematically appropriate.
okay, it's just like, okay, I feel like we should have gotten some time to breathe without Gustav in the party before we introduce someone who now just has to slot into place and
Oh,
shouldn't really have to in that sense.
from it's the sort of thing where from this point on, he's like, I'm gonna be here to help out. And nobody trusts me because the timing of me showing up is incredibly suspicious. And for good reason.
Yeah. And
Um,
I should say, I have gotten to the point of we have to go fight the Exons.
yes.
And I just got to Visage and met the Mask Keeper. That's an intro.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's where I am. So for the sake of not spoiling me on things that I haven't gotten to yet.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Understood.
Yeah. So, but on the Gustav and Verso thing, I don't like that he instantly has to slot into place there. I don't know some things, fair enough. But like, what I do really like about how they handle that is one, Gustav has a lot of skills locked, and that is a nice setup for, okay, this is your protagonist, and he is going to get better and cooler as the game goes on, and all the other characters also have locked skills, so this makes sense. This is just how this works.
Well, Act 1 is called Gustav. Act
Yep.
2 is called Verso. So
Yep.
it sets the precedent that whenever there's an act that involves a shift in
Protagonist, yes.
protagonist or main focus.
Yeah, but what I was getting to is the skills that he has are locked, and then Verso comes in, and basically everything is unlocked for him except for mechanics that come a bit later.
Mm-hmm.
And what I really like is that he has a lot of the same skills that Gustav did. He has Mark Shot and a very similar attack to Gustav's. It's been a long time since I've used it, so I can't remember. But the 3-hit combo thing that he does to build charge.
Yeah.
Verso has a very similar skill, and that kind of thing. They have from Fire. They both have that skill as well. There's a lot of things that they have that are similar, and then there are the ones on the side where for Gustav they were locked, and you get the feeling that Verso is what Gustav could have been if he was able to survive. Which,
And if he had both his arms.
I mean, I feel like you don't need both arms to have a skill like leadership, but okay.
No, I mean Verso uses 2 swords. Gustav could only ever use 1.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is that it's a representation of potential that was cut short.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate that. Narratively and game design wise, that is some synergy going on right there. Some ludonarrative synergy.
Yes.
Let's be pretentious. I don't care if that word is pretentious. It is a really good and useful word. Anyway, so that part of that I really like. You know what else I really like? SKA.
Yeah?
He's the fucking best.
Oh, me too. I love SKA.
He's just a good little floofball boy, and he's just so adorable. I want a headband too. I want an armband too, but I want it to be a headband.
It's real nice.
Sometimes I go wee, and sometimes I go ooh.
Yeah, SK is just a delightful. Remember when you were talking about Kingdom Hearts and you're like, oh, I was like, there's kind of a Goofy and Donald. SK is kind of the Goofy.
I can kind of see it, but it's a little bit of a reach, but yes.
Yeah. I thought it was a reach when I said it anyways.
Yeah.
But I was like, I could kind of see that.
Yeah. So, yeah, SKA is cool and fun and a nice bright spot in everything that kind of sucks.
Mm-hmm.
by which I mean both game design and narrative.
Ludo narrative sucking.
Yeah, like just all of the time that I spend roaming around the overworld with SGA, just running back while swimming back and forth across. Fine.
I will say, I know you didn't appreciate the overworld traversal, but I appreciate how fast it was to get across with SGA because I was like, the less time I'm in this overworld, the better.
Yeah, the overworld sucks.
It's not great,
Yeah,
but I mean,
you know those really like
mm,
fairly easy to miss like tiny light pickups. Let's make those even smaller. That'll be fun.
hmm
Yeah, yeah. But SGA is great. Oh, I did mean to say I looked up the cast list and fucking Daredevil was Gustav.
yes,
It's fucking weird, but all right. Also, he's English. I didn't know that, but all right. I was like, wow, that is a convincing English accent for an. Oh wait, this is one of those, isn't it?
yeah. There's a lot of English actors that can do pretty good American voices.
Yeah, it's never the other way around. Um,
I wonder why.
yeah. So yeah, and Verso is Ben Starr doing his Clive. Basically, it's just the same voice, but just there's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with that. It's a good voice, but
hmm
and Andy Serkis as Renoir, which okay, it's good casting. That's really ooh.
I think the vocal performances in general in the game are really strong.
Yeah, everyone's firing on all cylinders. Can't really complain about anyone at all. I had to look up Monaco because the voice sounded really familiar. I was wrong. I thought it was the Ray Chase. I think it was the guy who played Noctis in Final Fantasy 15. But no, it's not. That is also a really good voice, by the way. Is Monaco?
Monaco's great.
Yeah.
Every time he speaks, I stop to listen.
Yeah. Same voice as the Mask Keeper as well, by the way. Throwing that out there. So, yeah. That is also a fun character, if very, very weird, is Monaco.
Yes.
Intentionally so, but,
Intentionally so. And I'm not gonna spoil anything. I'm holding my tongue.
okay. Yeah.
Apologies, I have to do that from time to time. It's just
Yeah.
there's a lot that I could say about these characters that
Understandably,
I
I understand they all have side quests of a sort. And relationship levels was an interesting mechanic that I didn't see coming, but all right.
Yeah, you didn't have to do that with Gustav because everybody liked him, but here, everybody freaking hates her. So
Yeah. Well, not SGA. SGA. loves
SGA
him.
likes him,
Yeah.
but
His best
I
friend
mean,
Verso.
and Monaco kind of tolerates him.
Vitriolic best buds. You know that fucking
Yeah,
archetype.
yeah, I do.
They're
I do.
immediately talking shit to each other, and it's great.
Yeah. But the others are like not really buying that he's being open or honest with them about anything, which is
Mael
fair.
was kind of on board mostly from the beginning, and very quickly warmed up to him. Everyone else, not so much.
Well, I mean, he did jump in to save her life. So I can see that.
Yeah. So we also have, like I say, I got to the point where it's like, hey, we need to go kill the Exons, which means I did do Old Lumiere.
Yes.
Which means I did do the next Renoir fight, and that whole
What do you
thing.
think?
Sorry,
What do you think about that old Lumiere?
in what sense?
The fact that it exists.
I'm still not entirely sure what you're angling for here, but
No, I've always thought it was strange that we have Lumiere and old Lumiere here, and the way that it's like been torn asunder has always been like, how did that happen? I've always been curious about that.
They do talk about it briefly, but only to say, yeah, our part of the city was just ripped out like a chunk of earth and tossed to our little island getaway. And if that didn't happen, we'd have all been fucked. This would have been over.
Yeah. I try to visualize it. I'm like, how the heck did that? Okay, sorry. Get back to what you're saying.
Yeah, so that whole thing with French Renoir, and it's like, okay, he's his son. I mean, I kind of guessed that from how they look very, very similar. But
Yeah,
okay, this was a twist. All right. I mean, I suppose it was a twist for the characters, I guess. But
yeah.
that whole thing. This is going to be a take that is probably going to sour. I'm going to assume because I know what the name of the third act is, but I'm not big on the kind of sort of pseudo chosen one narrative thing with Mael. I know that's not what it is, but it's what it kind of feels like. I'm bored
This is a
with it.
take that's going to sour.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
hmm.
Go ahead.
It is. You get hints as to what the deal is with Mael. It takes a long time for the confirmation to be there.
I
And
have some assumptions at the moment.
care to share
All of the people in Lumiere are actually the painter's creations as well. They're not the real.
them? Interesting. And what does that make Mael?
A painted version of that girl Alicia with the burned face that the paintress has made for reasons of like there's kind of an implication that the paintress is related to Renoir and all the others. So maybe that she wants to recreate the version of Alicia that did exist at one point.
Interesting. Okay.
I
I'm not going to
hate this
confirm or
feeling
deny
because
anything.
I know you know. So either you're saying, "Oh, holy shit, he's like on point," or you're like, "He's fucking idiot, so off base."
I mean, I get to keep that card to myself for a bit.
you do.
But there's it's you get the sense of at least at the point where you're at that it might be a chosen one thing, but I think the story is well written enough that that's not the case of the chosen one per se.
Yeah, I already know that it's not actually
Yeah.
chosen one, and that there is like narrative and pathos reasons for why this is happening to her specifically. They've made that very clear, and that it's
Yeah.
not. Oh, she's the one destined to. No, it's none of that bollocks, but it
There's a
has the
sequence of
vibe of the
events.
same thing. Yeah.
There's a sequence of events that have happened that you have yet to learn of that will give you a better picture of what's actually been happening. And once you learn that, we can have some discussions about what the game itself is trying to say, because there's some stuff that is rather interesting. I was just talking about Expedition 33 with another friend earlier today, and he's near the end of act the final act. He's like near the end of the game, and there's still some stuff that he doesn't know, and I'm like, I want to talk to you about this, but I can't.
I am sure this is a very frustrating conversation for you too.
It's I'm holding myself back so as to not spoil you because I don't want your experience to be ruined. I don't think that necessarily spoiling that would ruin your experience per se, but it would affect how you go through it. And I think that the reveals that you are going to face are going to be worth it. This all being said, fighting the Exons, there's the two of them that you're going up against, right? It's like two or three.
So far, it's two, and they've mentioned a third.
Yeah, so it's the two of them. Visage is pretty awesome, and again, once you're later on, we can go back and talk about these things because they actually are thematically tied to certain things in the game that are not apparent yet.
I
The
am
other Exxon
remembering
is
that this guy is like, ooh, masks, 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 masks. And then there is Mael's counterpart who wears a mask all the time.
yeah. It's the other name for the visage is like he who hides truth with lies, I think,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
pretty interesting descriptor. I want to keep that in mind going forward. Um, and then the other one is she who plays with wonder. So both of those are pretty interesting descriptors to remember for later. One thing that like you haven't gone to the other Exxon yet, and not to spoil you or anything, but that's a very, very unique area, unlike anything else in the game. That's really interesting.
That
I really,
sounds wonderful because a very unique area is something I have not had in a while.
yeah, the Visage place is honestly far less unique than it could be. It's kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
But the other one is like really cool. Because I think it's like progression of the game is you're on your way to go defeat the Paintress and do all that stuff. So you need the Exons, and then you can boom, 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 go through it. Pretty easy, right? Pretty easy. Just gotta fight the Paintress. Pretty easy.
I'm fairly certain I do know the name and the location of the last boss, as in the last boss.
Okay.
That's obviously not a huge spoiler. It's a mild spoiler. I would call that, of like who is going to last to the very very end and who is going to be the final confrontation. But yeah, I know it does
Well,
not end with the Paintress.
of course not. Act 2 ends with the Paintress.
Of course it does.
And as we all know, there's not only two acts. It's never only two acts.
Yeah, that was a thing that was also kind of, according to like Reddit posts that I saw, that was like, oh, knowing there's a third act is spoiler.
Yeah.
2-act stories are not that common. They happen, but they're not that common.
In fact, even Silk Song has acts in it now. Act 1 and Act 2. And unless you do the things to get to the true ending, you don't get access to Act 3. So, like,
Yeah.
you know...
Automata's Route A, Route B, and then Route C.
Yeah, it's the same sort of thing, really.
Yeah.
And there's going to be an Act 3, and then that's going to be where things really, like, for lack of a better term, pop off. I'm sure you might have heard about this, but the combat system in Expedition 33 is so exploitable in the late game that you can make some extremely hilarious builds that just kind of crush everything.
Yeah, there is a reason it has a damage cap of 9999 to start with, because you can hit that in the first 5 hours.
And eventually, there's going to be a time when that cap can come off.
Yep.
Like there always is.
I was
And when it
mildly
does-
spoiled by that too, of there's a Picto you can get in the beginning of Act 3 that just gets rid of
Yeah.
that.
But to be fair, like when I was playing through the game, I was like, there's no way this cap is saying.
Yeah.
There's no way. Like
Like-
this is definitely going away.
Mael can get a 5-hit combo with each hit doing damage cap numbers. Yeah, no, we're not sticking with this.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's not even a spoil. It's just like eventually there's gonna have to like be a change here.
And Golgra
And it's-
has like 10 million health. Yeah, no.
Yeah, and so people are able to make end game builds that do like 200 million with one attack. It's ridiculous. Though that is incredibly highly optimized and running strange, bizarro builds. I never even did any of that crap because it's like at that point you're not even playing the game.
Yeah. Optimizing things is a bit of a laborious experience anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I am literally sitting there with all of my party at like half of the Lumina that I could have. Like, they're using about 35 and I've got a max of 60. Because I just can't be fucking asked to sort through that menu.
I would say when you do eventually get to the final boss, which won't be for a while, put the damage cap back on.
Okay.
Because otherwise that boss doesn't last very long at all.
At least see what he can do. Like, come on.
Yeah, no, it's you need to put the damage cap back on just for that final boss. Not any of the secret bosses, just the final boss.
Watch out, I'm gonna do the big mask thing again, and it's gonna do 30 damage per hit. Ooh.
It uh there's gonna be some I'm not gonna confirm who the final boss is on like what that entails, but yeah, put the cap back on for that one, just for that one.
Okay.
There's like a secret boss as well, some hidden somewhere that is going to kick your teeth in.
Sweet.
In which case, do not put the damage cap on. Distinctly, do not break the game as much as possible to beat that one. But for the actual final boss, it's like, yeah, no, you don't put the cap on because the joy of customizing is great. So yeah, you are fighting Visage, and so far, thoughts on the story? Is it going in a good direction? What do you think? Are you excited for more?
I'm not, which makes me think that it's way too early to judge.
Okay,
Like,
fair enough.
Like I say, there's the mild chosen one vibe that's going on, and then a lot of the rest of it is we need to get this thing to do this thing, and then oh no, roadblock. Okay, we can just pivot and go towards a new plan. We've got to go get this thing to do this thing. It's fairly standard and straightforward, and the twist of hey, I'm his son is like I don't fucking. It's nothing. I already know
Oh
that.
yeah, that's such a nothing twist.
Yeah. So, yeah, the big moment was the end of Act 1, and honestly a little bit discouraged me from continuing playing because, like I say, it's Snowball 2. I didn't appreciate that. It felt cheap and weak.
Yeah.
But I continued on, and it's been fine. I am waiting for it to pick up, is where I am on that one.
Okay.
I'm not hating it.
I
I'm not even disliking it. I'm kind of okay with it, is where I'm sitting at the moment.
Okay. So when we went to go fight the Exons, I actually did the opposite order than you.
You went to the harder one first.
Yes. And that resulted in me having a very different impression at this point of the game. So that's kind of interesting. For me, Visage was kind of like a nothing after I just bust through the harder version of the thing. So
I should make clear, I have been kind of, like I say, I am so annoyed at the exploration stuff because I am doing all the side stuff as I'm going along. So, fighting all the chromatic enemies and all the bonus bosses except for that fucking weird frost thing.
Can I give you a...
Just past the Forgotten Battlefield. It's annoying, yeah.
Can I give you a minor mechanic spoiler that'll make your life a little bit easier if just something that will be coming up ahead?
Okay, sure.
As with any traditional RPG, later on, SK will gain the ability to fly.
Yep.
If you want to save side stuff for until you get that, be my guest, because it will make your life way easier.
I do not, but I appreciate the suggestion.
Okay.
I figure that if I get all the stuff that I can get to now out of the way, then the stuff that I still have to do will be fairly obvious to me on the map. Mm-hmm. Because I have to worry about that because there's no fucking journal or any indicator.
So, I would say presently. Also, I could have sworn there was a way for marking specific quests, but I'm not sure. Oh well. I will say, you are in a low point in the game right now.
Absolutely.
It is all uphill from here. Like, not up, it's all up from here in terms of like awesome things happening. So, like it just continues to get better from here.
Yeah.
So, push on a little bit more. We continue, and see what you think.
We continue.
Yeah. I like it when the game ties in that with the the dialogue stuff and the like after battle we continue,
Oh, you know what? I there was one thing that really bothered me, and it's so small, but I just wish they did. I wish so much that they did it.
Yeah.
I made sure to have Gustav write in the journal every single time, and every time he would say, "For those who come after." I wish so much that Mael says as well.
You can have her write in the journal.
I do. She doesn't say it.
She hasn't said that once yet? Oh.
Nope, she doesn't say it.
I could have sworn.
Nope.
I guess not. Huh. Well, that thread will just keep writing the journal.
Okay.
If it falls, like, there's only good things happen by writing in that journal continuously, is all I'm going to say. It is really good to do it. Please keep doing it. Yeah. And any other thoughts?
Nothing particularly comes to.
Okay.
Oh, the kind of hinting at Lune and Ciel hooking up in the past. That could have been handled better.
I didn't even pick up on that.
Yeah, they have a conversation at camp where they discuss how Lune just went to the top of a tower just to like hide from the Gamage one time.
Yeah.
Because I think it was like her parents were on an expedition and the Gamage meant, hey, they're absolutely fucking dead. So Ciel goes up and then they talk about how, hey, after all of that, you kind of avoided me. And you're like, oh, okay, fair enough. This is one. They found comfort in each other, kind of thing. And then,
I never got the vibe that they were hooking up, though.
That, I mean, what else would that be? Like they talk about, but that's the thing, is that a couple of sentences later they're like, hey, friends, friendly friends, friendly friends. Like
That particular discussion does get followed up on later.
Okay.
But I didn't get the vibe that it was a hookup, rather like an actual moment of like vulnerability. And if you've seen both of them, they typically tend to, well, at least Lune in particular tends to keep her distance from other people, and not let them actually get too close, which is explained later. So
Okay.
yeah, continue on and enjoy the game.
I will try.
Yeah. The overworld is
Ass. It's ass.
I don't think it's as bad as you say it is, but you
It
know what?
absolutely
That's
It's
difference of opinion on there. I think given the scope of what the game is and how big the dev team is, the overworld is very much a compromise.
Okay. It's gonna sound mean. It's not meant to be mean. That sounds like an excuse. Like, a lot of the things that this game does are throwbacks to how JRPGs were circa 2000. And in that sense, some of the things that JRPGs did that were bad, this game does because that's how JRPGs were circa 2000. Whereas modern ones have kind of moved past that and fixed those problems, or it invents entirely new problems out of whole cloth. And the exploration systems and the complete lack of a journal, again, I'm going to point that out, those are problems that did not need to be there.
Would a journal change your opinion of the overworld? Are those two like tied together?
Yes.
Okay.
Just a basic acknowledgement of, okay, you have this thing that someone has asked you to do. Have you gone and done it? Here's where it was. Okay, I have cleared that area. That kind of thing would be so wonderful in this game.
All right. Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. I think the overworld on its own isn't bad, but I do agree that the lack of clarity on objectives and stuff makes it go from harmless to not great.
And to be perfectly clear, I'm not saying, hey, give me a fucking map marker to tell me where to go on the overworld map. Like, I'm not asking for, like, a fucking waypoint arrow to point me through the map or anything like that. I'm just asking for the basic information that I have been given already and have a record of it in the game. That's it.
All right. Well, we'll have to touch base again once you've played more. Presumably, once you've got into the end of Act 2, I'd like to touch base again.
Yeah. Also, that is a 2.5 hour podcast.
Yes. just like the old days.
Yeah. That's gonna. Okay. Yep. I
No problem.
live in fear of the episode where we talk about the full game with full spoilers.
It'll be great. It's fun. It's
yeah.
fun. It's great.
Yeah. Okay. So,
All right.
bye everybody that's
That's the
still here.
podcast.
You fucking.
Bye.
Yeah. Okay. Bye everybody. Discord, Patreon links. I should have done that earlier. Nobody cares. Nobody. 2 people did join, but I feel like one of them just kind of bailed.
It's okay. I think I am going to take this time to go and take my headphones off and stare at space.
Stars are like the apples of the sky.
Yeah, we can't eat them.
You would make SKA go, ooh.
I would, wouldn't I? I love SKA.